Right, so what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the Z900 RS. Today something slightly different, similar in the sense that we're going to go for a little ride on the bike, look around the local area, and maybe even hit up some of the common biker spots and check out what bikes are around today on what is a decently sunny Sunday, so there should be some nice bikes around. But also during this video, I recently put a story up on my Instagram asking if any of you guys had some questions that you wanted to hear me answer. And yeah, quite a few of you had questions to ask. I think I have about 5 or so. So yeah, we're going to jump out on the bike, enjoy a fun little ride on this bike, and in the meantime also answer a few of your guys' comments, and there are some interesting topics to talk about. So yeah, without further ado, we will get this bike started, then get on the road. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get it cold started. I feel like every single video I film with this bike, I show the cold start, but I just don't think it could ever get boring. I mean, obviously we've got the standard end can on it, so it keeps the beautiful standard looks, which just looks so clean on it. But with the Akropovich D-Cat header pipes we've got, that sounds absolutely insane, and it will never get boring. I feel like no matter how many videos I film on this bike, we could get to 1,000 videos on this bike on the channel, and I think I will still always film the cold start because it is just awesome. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, the first question has come from S1K Arch on Instagram, and he says, kind of a question, wheelie tutorial please. Now, this is a bit of a funny one, as literally a day before asking me this, he posted this photo, which doesn't particularly look like someone that needs a tutorial on wheelies. But for those of you that maybe aren't quite as good as him, I can give my little bit of advice, I suppose. And I consider myself a good wheelier, but not an excellent, if that makes any sense. I've never really gotten fully into the whole stunting of the wheelie. When I first started trying to learn them, my goal was always to be pretty good at them, be able to kind of do balance point and coast a little, and kind of be able to get on basically most bikes and do a wheelie. But I was never particularly enthusiastic about properly stunting it. So yeah, my skill level kind of draws a line. I can jump on most bikes and do wheelies. I like to do fun little power wheelies, go through the gears. I can do pretty good, you know, 10, 11 o'clock wheelies, balance point, coast, but anything more than kind of 11 o'clock is where I draw the line. And it sounds weird to say because 11 o'clock is pretty insane, but you know, there's always much better wheeliers than me, you know, people that can drop back fully and scrape and do all the kind of, you know, clutch in 20-mile-an-hour stuff. That is well above my level. So for what it's worth, for my skill level, I can, you know, kind of talk about how I learnt, I suppose. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to show you any live wheelies in today's videos, as we won't have any access to private land. But yeah, let's fast forward. I probably learnt to wheelie about 1.5 years ago, and that was on a XSR 700. So basically an MT-07, but in my opinion looks better and isn't as boring, as not everyone in the world has one. No disrespect if you've got an MT-07, they're amazing bikes, they're just not quite for me. But yeah, that's the bike I learnt on, and the way I kind of learnt is, you know, it took me a little while to get used to the whole way of clutch ups, and the best way I can describe it to someone who can't quite figure out clutch ups is it's basically a rev match like I'm doing there, but just with a bit more delay. You kind of do a rev match, but you have to kind of give a bit of throttle when the clutch is actually disengaging to obviously pop the wheel in the air. So that's kind of the step one, is figuring out that. I wouldn't recommend learning power wheelies. Power wheelies are fun, and people that hate on power wheelies, I don't really see the hate for it personally, because power wheelies are very fun, but yes, they are a bit risky if you don't know what you're doing. So it's a lot more safer to learn clutch ups, as you have more control of how high the wheel's coming up, and you're not kind of just trying to chase the wheelie and use as much throttle, because that can very quickly turn into a very bad time. But yeah, that's what I started out figuring that out, and from there I just kind of gradually progressed, put the seat time in, loads of practice, and bit by bit the wheel came higher and higher. I didn't want to rush into it. Rushing into it is where it goes bad. So yeah, very short answer to the question is I'm not going to use this as me teaching you to wheelie, as that would just take a very long time. And like I said, I'm not like, I'm good at wheelies, but I wouldn't quite want to come here and teach you it. But I would just start figuring out the clutch ups, get the wheel just that little bit inch off the floor, and just progress from there. Really keep getting higher and higher, further and further, and progressing that way, and just don't rush yourself into it. Go nice and slowly. The noise of this bike will never get boring. Anyway, we will continue the ride alone nevertheless, and get straight into the next question, which is another interesting one, but it's going to be quite a difficult one for me to answer, to be honest. And it's from OllieNew.03, and his question is favourite bike you've owned. Now I have promised actually a couple of people already that at some point I'm going to do a whole video where I rank every single bike I've owned, because I've had quite a few, an embarrassing amount. I change bikes basically more than I change my underwear half the time, but yes, this is quite a tough question for me to answer considering that. Yeah, I think this is going to potentially offend some people, and it's quite a funny answer to give considering it is the cheapest bike I've ever bought. But I would say that my favourite bike I've owned is my 2003 B1H ZX6R that I currently have, and I'd say that probably just behind that is going to be the bike I'm currently riding, the Z900 RS. Now again, I feel like some people are going to think I'm a bit weird for those decisions, but I mean, of course, they are the bikes that I currently have and have been keeping for quite some time now, so it's obvious to say, but they are probably my two favourite bikes. The ZX6R, I just love it. It's always been a bike that I've really liked since I started riding. A lot of influence from YouTubers like Ride 636 for example have made me fall in love with the B1H ZX6R, and yeah, I kind of bought it blind, never riding it, and it literally took me an hour riding it on the way back to absolutely fall in love with it. It's so raw, so engaging to ride, and not to mention does it look absolutely incredible. And yeah, me and many others believe that is the best year of ZX6R ever made, so that's the reason for that. This Z900 RS, again, my favourite, because, well, my second favourite. I'm a huge fan of retro bikes. I think this bike looks absolutely incredible, and it is just, there's not really one thing I don't like about this bike. You know, I commute on this bike daily. It's perfect for what I want it for, but it's also an incredibly fun bike to ride. It sounds amazing, looks amazing, and yeah, this bike is just a bit of me, really. So that is why I love this bike so much. And some honourable mentions: Yamaha MT-10. I've had 3 Yamaha MT-10s. Stupid, I know. The Gen 1 I would probably put quite low down on my list, to be honest, as it wasn't the best. But the Gen 2s, I had 2 of them. I'm not going to go into explaining that because it's a very long story. There is a video explaining why. Sounds weird, but yes, I've had 2. That was an awesome bike. Stupid fun to ride. The noise, one of the best sounding bikes. I just found the looks of it did kind of let it down for me, and I don't know, there's a couple things on Yamahas that I kind of went off of and that I found a lot more better on Kawasaki's, which is why I made the change. And the other honourable mention is my Yamaha XSR 700, the bike I've had for the longest. I had that bike near on 2.5 years, so a very long time for me, and I just absolutely love that bike. It obviously was basically an MT-07, so it's just insane torque fun, so much fun, sounded amazing, but like I mentioned earlier, MT-07s don't really interest me. I'm not the biggest fan of the looks, and I think generally you get kind of put into a box of stereotypical MT-07 owners, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, because I like to be a little unique and I don't like getting a bike that everyone has. And that's funny for me to say when I'm riding a Z900 RS, because they're very popular. But yeah, I just loved that it was basically an M207 but had the modern retro looks. And no prize for guessing, obviously I got this bike now. I absolutely love the modern retro stuff, so there are some honourable mentions. And oh my casual Aventador Roadster. But yeah, that's the next question done. We will drop down some gears a bit and enjoy the bike a bit. We'll head towards Poolkey and see how many bikes are around on what is a pretty nice day, although very windy, so hopefully the audio isn't too bad. Got a bit of a yaw, but that sounds insane. And those rev matches, oh yeah, this is great evidence of me saying, oh, this bike sounds good. Oh, it's just silly. We head somewhere around here, we should be able to sneak in. God, there's loads of bikes. We get a good little look around at the bikes here today. Right, so let's have a little look around. Here's a Z900 all parked up.
The gentleman that does the
You're right, mate.
YouTube.
I am, yes. Dorset.Motorcycles.
That's it, yeah, they follow you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, I enjoy your content. It's good.
No, I really appreciate that.
Right.
Oh, what a nice gentleman that was. Quite fun to be recognised. Jump back on the iPhone, take a little look around. So you see plenty of bikes around. The Z900 RS is looking as good as always, as are the views here at Poolkey. Lovely area, of course. All the boats parked down at the quay down there. But yeah, let's have a little look what we've got. We've got a M207 rolling out over there. Really, really nice M209 SP. That looks super good. Harley Davidson. Not normally a Harley fan, but that looks very cool, I must admit. I'd love to ride something like that. The tricks are there. That looks absolutely gorgeous. 1100 SX, amazing bike. That gentleman very nicely just spoke to me. That's his bike. That looks super, super cool. Carry on down. You got a couple Harleys rolling through there. Very nice. Super cool. You see, I'm too socially awkward to go properly film around here, as everyone will look at me like a bit of an idiot, but you can see very nice selection of bikes, Hayabusas, just a really nice range of basically kind of any kind of bike you could imagine. I was on the road there, that's a bit silly, but yeah, as you can see, it's very busy here today. Right, so let's get on to the next question, and this one has been asked by B13D_biking. Sorry if I'm butchering some of your usernames. Reading Instagram usernames out loud sometimes sounds very funny. And he asked, how long have you been riding, and first bike including learning? Now, how long have I been riding? That has probably been approximately 3.5 years, I want to say. It was kind of a funny story how I got into riding, actually, as my whole childhood I was actually a huge car nut. Car YouTube, you know, I used to spend my whole time doing basically everything to do with cars, car meets, all that kind of jazz. And yeah, just getting your car lessons was so expensive, and doing the car test was a lot of work. And it wasn't until, you know, a few years after I could have done my driving test that I all of a sudden decided, when on a trip in Amsterdam, that I really like bikes and they're really cool. And it's weird because when I was super young, I actually used to come to Poolkey bike night and I used to love bikes, and then that transitioned to cars, and then the Amsterdam trip, for some reason something just clicked in my mind. There are a lot of motorcycles over there, Ducatis and all that. It just clicked in my mind. I was like, right, I want a motorcycle. So yeah, as soon as I came back from that holiday, I went and bought a Yamaha XSR 125. There wasn't particularly any reason for that. Crescent Yamaha just happened to be the dealer that came up when I looked into getting a bike. I went to the dealer and that was a bike that immediately kind of appealed to me. So yeah, that kind of started my love for the modern retro from my very first bike, and I actually loved that bike. However, I kind of bought that just as a plan of being a mode of transport, and I think literally within about a week of riding that I decided, yeah, I want a proper bike. So yeah, my L plate CVT lasted about a month before I then got my A2 restricted license, and then obviously I did that for a couple of years, had a ton of bikes, and now on the big license. But yeah, that's my first bike, and that's been kind of my journey to where I am today. It's been about 3.5 years, but obviously I have basically ridden every single day. There's obviously been the odd little holiday and a couple of times I have crashed where I've had some time off riding, but for the most part I've ridden every single day. Well, you guessed it, the tradition on the channel, you have to enjoy the tunnel. This is a very beautiful one indeed. Oh, it's just ridiculous. What a noise. Right, so the next question, as we come into YouTube, this has been asked by Motorbike Photography 1000. And this is a really good question, I like this one. But it is who or what inspired you to start YouTube? And where do you see yourself in 5 years with the channel? Now, that's an absolutely brilliant question. In terms of the what inspired me, it's kind of a case that I've always been interested in YouTube. I've always loved YouTube, and kind of as the years of my childhood kind of progressed, no matter what I was into at that time, the obvious way for me to enjoy that always was just kind of make a YouTube channel for it. So I did car YouTube for, I want to say, like 5 years. So yeah, it's always kind of been in my brain that I've enjoyed making YouTube videos, and I've always had that kind of creative side of enjoying photography, videography, that kind of thing. In terms of the motorcycle world, what people kind of inspire me, Brian636 is a huge one. I've been watching him since the start, and he's kind of the person that made me fall in love with the 636. I'll quickly interrupt myself just to point out how beautiful Sandbanks is today and what amazing views they are. But yeah, he's an obvious one. Fastlane D, I find him quite, you know, good to watch. He's, you know, come a huge way from what he started with. I think he had like an old 08 R1 or something to now have the crazy superbike collection he has. That's kind of, you know, dream world stuff. And also little things, 44 Teeth, stuff like them. I enjoy their reviews, and I kind of get quite a bit of motivation from them on that side of it. So yeah, they're the main kind of inspirations, I suppose. There's other little, you know, motorcycle channels that I watch here and there, but for the most part they are the main ones. And then the other question, where do I see the channel in 5 years? That's a brilliant question. I don't really know. You know, the plan is, I absolutely love making these videos, and I put a lot of hard work into it, and it does seem to be paying off. So the channel is doing really well, which I do really appreciate. So yeah, there's no reason at all for me to not say that in 5 years I'll still be doing it, I'll still be pushing. I want to keep consistent, keep putting the work in, and I hope that in 5 years the channel can just, you know, keep progressing at the rate it currently is. In terms of dreams, I guess I could say, I'd love to be able to get to a point where I'm invited to press releases of bikes abroad and track days abroad, that kind of thing. That's always kind of been the thing I've said that is the dream of my YouTube. You know, just to be able to be invited to stuff like that would be absolutely incredible. And just continue enjoying it, really. I love being able to do what I enjoy. I love being able to show what I enjoy and other people enjoy it, if that makes sense. So just continuing that, really. And I guess the other side of it as well is, the better the YouTube channel goes, the more insane bikes I can get. So there's that side of it as well. The more it does, the more bikes I can buy. I love buying motorcycles. I don't think there would be a limit on the amount I would have if I had all the money in the world. So I guess the other side of it is yeah, just being able to buy more bikes that I love, really. And I've kind of said recently I love Kawasaki's. I'd love to build a bit of a Kawasaki collection, so I guess being able to yeah, add a few of my other dream Kawasaki's that I have would be nice. Other brands of bikes that I'd love that maybe I can be fortunate enough to own at some point as well would be lovely. But yeah, just generally anything that comes of it is just an added bonus. Just being able to film the YouTube videos and enjoy it, because I enjoy it so much. So anything is a bonus to just being able to film it and enjoy it, really. I feel like you might be getting slightly bored of this view on the channel now, as it almost feels as if every other video now I am coming here to Sandbanks. But I mean, for good reason, really. Just look at it, and when I come for a little local ride where I don't want to go too far like this, it just kind of feels like an obvious stop. And yeah, I like little more local rides like this, just taking in the views, not riding too crazy, and just enjoying what is a somewhat nice day. Like I did say earlier, it is very windy, but yeah, the bike looks just as awesome as ever, especially with that 40 view in the background. Yeah, I'm going to admire the views here for a few minutes, and then we will jump back on, head in the direction of home, and answer the last final couple of questions. So the next question has been asked by SKDan88, and he asks, tell us about yourself, what you do for a living, and give me a shout out. Well, there's the shout out. And in terms of what do I do for a living, I like to keep it a little personal, as you guys would be able to tell from my YouTube, but I am just your everyday kind of forklift warehouse worker, really. Nothing special. That's what I do as a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends obviously I do the YouTube. So that is just kind of the oh, that's pretty cool, that Caterham. That is the simplest way to describe what I do for a living. Well, you already know what's coming here. Unfortunately, we do have a bit of traffic ahead of us though, so it's not going to be anything too enjoyable, unfortunately. Oh, even with not too much room ahead, we can still enjoy that little tunnel a bit, and yeah, God, I love this bike. Well, so there we go, we have made it home. What a fun little video this was to film. Massive thank you to all the people that asked questions. There are some very interesting questions, that's for sure. Nonetheless, thank you for all the comments you guys have left. Yeah, it's a fun little video to film. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching it. Let me know, do you want to see me do stuff like this more often? Obviously, as we're coming into winter as well, it's going to be getting a little harder to keep to my 2 videos a week. So little things like this, just little chilled rides and just talking, can make that a bit easier in winter. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more stuff like this. Make sure to head over to my Instagram and give me a follow if you want to be first in line to ask questions the next time I do this, if you guys have enjoyed it. But yeah, there we go. As always guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for plenty more videos like this come, and also the latest thing with YouTube. If you want to show support on the channel that little bit more, feel free to leave a hype point, I believe they're called. It just kind of helps my video get out there to a large audience really, and creates hype around the video, so that'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could do that. But yeah, as always guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.